Alright, so this is kind of a thing. I'm gonna take you on the Stairway to Heaven path in North Seattle, Southside Aurora. This is the Stairway to Heaven path. It's not an easy path to find, but it has a history. It's something interesting to talk about. And then this is a big parking lot here, and it's always been closed as far as I've ever known in my whole life. I've always seen it closed, always. And then this stairway is over here, up in these woods. Stairway to Heaven. It's got the trickle down, and then so this was like some kind of rich person's property a long time ago, where we debate about if it was like actually property of some kind of armed forces property a long time ago. And this is armed forces doing the way they built this a long time ago or something. This might have been like a fort area that was like not well known or something, possibly. But I don't know the history about it. Amongst most people, they don't know, is what I've noticed. So, and I haven't looked it up, so I'm going by what people tell me. And this thing I know about this trail is that back here, behind here, right now, is a wide open trail. People are walking their dogs, and there's a big dog park back here. But like before 1995, especially 85 to 95, this was stoner paradise. Rock and rollers, Pearl Jam, Nirvana, all those type of scene people, young dudes camping, working places, doing hard labor work, and then camping out here. And that's like a blind spot, is what it was, is what they considered. People who were into mountain biking and camping and musicians found this place because they were into all three of those things. And REI and Trek people, I'm sure, have all heard stories about people, and the people that were camped out on these trails 85 to 95, especially during Nirvana and Pearl Jam and the grunge stage of Seattle's grunge scene. They started cleaning this out in 2000. Started warning about it like 95. And then it was like Pirates Cove for several years. They continued to find stuff hidden in the sides of the hills and the cliffs, and little fortresses dug into sides of the hill and stuff. And they were dragging stuff out of these areas right here for a couple of years. And they had community corrections, Seattle corrections out here with vans and all kinds of stuff for a couple of years. There was freaking so much stuff back here. And then just like, think about it. Rims, bikes, tires, tools, little rooms built with scrap woods and all kinds of stuff. And then so to part of understanding the lean that the grunge scene had was actually almost partly very much about the scene and the young youth who really had a huge following camping out here. They were camping out here. And grunge was cool because they were dirty. They were grungy. So it's Incognito-ville before 2000, all of this. And it's huge, and there's even, you can see buildings up there on the side of this cliff over here, and this trail goes and winds around. And you can take it all the way out to, basically you'll end up having to be a cliff jumper, and you'll probably run into some people who might be living out there on the cliffs, who are able people in there living an extreme lifestyle. Like it's almost guaranteed that I would find someone if I climbed out along these cliffs over here. It's almost guaranteed. So it's cool, right? It's cool to see it. They made a dog park here as like a remembrance of all the dogs that were out here camped out. It's huge. What a big trail. So it's still a great spot for mountain biking and all that, but you're gonna, some days it's gonna be busy. And so I'm doing this as exercise, trying to treat my condition, going off what I've known. And thinking about these things because it's just interesting for sure. You know, look how much space there is. Imagine how many people were camped out here, young dudes especially. It was like incognito, and they all like were weed smokers, and that was the grunge scene. And maybe you just don't know. It had something to do with camping. I know for a fact, like before 2000, also out in the Green River Community College area, before 2000, tons of students that were white that came from those neighborhoods around Kent and Auburn. They camped in their cars or even camped in the woods near Green River Community College. And before 2000, especially, 85 to 95, there was like a huge piece of property out there near the community college in the woods that was like inhabited by students. And it was Incognito-ville. And they took all that shit down especially since 2000. A lot of stuff happened around 2000. They started not letting that kind of stuff happen. And then whether or not they were doing it nicely or whatever, everything was really up in the air. Like if you were a camper, you hope that if they came up on you saying it's time for you to go, they'd be nice about it. But who knows how it was, right? The smart guys got out quick and didn't wait. The people who were really stuck were still here, I'm sure. And then it was on that. But it wasn't just bums, you know. Back in those days with the grunge scene, tons of young dudes that skipped out of rent and they saved their money and they spent it on being part of music and art and stuff like that. It's just huge. And you just see the ocean out there, and then the cliffs are out that way. Look how far down. Whoa. And the trail keeps going that way, but it gets thinner I'm not prepared to take that trail today, but the train comes by down there and it sounds cool, and it rumbles the whole hillside, kind of like a rumbling. It's interesting. Yeah, so the path goes that way. It gets sketchier until you're just on cliffs and stuff. But if you're prepared, you can go far, and then I don't know where it goes. I've never taken it, but I guarantee you see other people along the way. At least one other person. It's just huge, and you can barely see it. There's a house up there. There's houses up there, dead end streets. This tree fell down last year, 2 years. It's a new thing. It just crashed. People already been climbing on it a lot. That's why I love Pacific Northwest. There's beautiful places like this. There's nowhere like this in the Midwest. It's just beautiful. If you were in a place like this in the Midwest, you'd be swarmed by bugs, several kinds. So, the dog park. The dog park. And so it's a funny thing that they put the dog park here, because if you were camping outside, you were definitely a dog. Right? It's beautiful. Look at these trees, man. Whew. It's the Stairway to Heaven trail. There's several stairways on the trail too. I took you on the less known trail that would be the trail that, if you found that a long time ago, you would have found the camps. This trail, they cut this, it goes straight to the dog park across the hillside, and there's stairs all up and down this thing that are concrete. People come out here and do the stairs. They do the stairs, and then so that's a thing. It's like you're staring back at society and you're camping. All right. But yeah, I think this was like a military property, but I don't know the history about it. And that's where all the stairways came from, and they've been here a long time. It looked like fort craftsmanship. Seriously. Run-of-the-mill kind of work. Is that what they say? Run-of-the-mill. This is where all the Nirvana Pearl Jam fans were camping 85 to 95, right? Long time before they built this. This is where it was. This is where Pearl Jam, Nirvana, that scene, the grunge scene. They were all incognito over here. That's the old secret, you know. Huh? Oh, I was living in Kent, but I knew about it. Yeah. Pretty badass trail for walking. If you bring a mountain bike out here now, there's always people out here with their dogs, so it's kind of like not a trail you see mountain bikes very often anymore. It was the fucking shit. This was the shit right here. If you were around Aurora, Seattle, it's like, this was the spot. If you were a young person, this is where you came to find other people and stuff. Other young people hiding out. And then, so it was like a lot of up and down the coast travelers in that time. And then this was for up and down, for travelers who were traveling like up and down the coast and stuff, they would find this, and then they would think, yeah, Seattle's rocking. Seattle rocks. There's still tons of trails out there, but I mean, just saying, the location, everything about it. It was an untalked about scene, part of the scene, grunge society. Unknown. Ooh. Never to be seen again. You won't see that again. Dog park. Public walking area. You won't see that again. And so there's lots of places that are similar status, but this was the hugest. I mean, look at this. Think about it. If you found this, the way the sun comes through the trees right here. And imagine if the trail was not fit wide like that. There was more trees and it was all cut down. Just enough to see the trail. And you got right here and you'd be like, whoa, what a spot, you know? Nobody knows about this. So back then, this was so cool. So cool. Just places everywhere. Another great spot. Perfect. This was all unseen. Right here is where the dog park is, and then there was a lot more trees and stuff right here. And they cut the shit all out. And the view of this trail right here was not visible. Right here, see? And now you can see how it worked. Steep hillside. Joggers would jog these other stairs and stuff. But then this was like a off trail that was hidden by tons of trees right here. The trees aren't here anymore. Saved one big tree right there, but it's had to be busted down. Eventually it'd be at a giant totem pole. Giant totem pole right there. Hopefully that's what they'll do. They'll turn that big old one into a giant totem pole. So that's what they should do. Public notice. This berm. This place for the park. Alter the landscape. Yeah, so don't start digging a camp into the side of the hill. Especially if it's anywhere anyone can see. You crazy punk rock kids. You crazy punk rock kids. Keep your grungy ass away from this dog park. It took us many years to drag everything out of here. And then these were these old bathrooms that were here. And now they're more well maintained. It's kind of like a... Before 2000, it was an area that was just not very well known. People, even visitors, didn't know about it that much unless they really knew what they were talking about. They were into outdoors. They had to be into outdoors and mountain biking and shit, and then they'd find this place. Your drug dealer didn't know about it. And if he did, it was because it was local from this area. So this is the more public area. So and then the walkers would come over here and walk around, and they felt like they saw what they needed to see and stuff. But they never went back that way. Towards the cliffs. There's a stairway. So this was the regular traffic stairway, and it's been remodeled in the past 20 years. It's got the water running right next, streaming down. And then I always joke to myself when I walk over this part, it's like I was running through the river because the water always comes over this part. And I think they did that on purpose. Like, characteristically, it's interesting. Try to get weird growths to happen on this piece of the concrete and stuff. That's how Seattle is. Let's see what happens if we make it messed up right there and the water flows over. It was not an accident. It was not an accident. Doggies everywhere. Puppies. Puppies. This one's not camera shy at all. Give me that camera. What's up, guys? There's the train. Whoa, look at that. And that shit happens every day, and it's cool. So cool. Train. So, and then if you walk down here, that's the way to the old stairway, but it's never open. And I've never seen this open my whole life. Right there. I've never seen it open my whole life. But, that's how it is. It's just how it is. It's way back there. It's way back there. And then if you walk past here, this is the regular traffic. And then they just don't go back there unless they're into mountain biking and shit, and they're gonna look around. Just people just don't even... So that's how it was. Before 2000. And then right here, if you're a musician, you could jam in this thing, and it echoes I got a stone in my pocket, and I'm pulling hell away. Yeah, I said that. Look out, love is war, and you know. So it sounds cool in here. And then that's it. They go jogging that way. And they didn't go on the cliffs till like 2000. People just didn't go over there. And it was just a bunch of fucking stoner, grunge punks, punk rockers and shit. Punk rockers and shit. It's just a dog park now. Just a dog park now. Oh well. Still a nice area over here. Super nice today for November. Dun, 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 dun. P&W best spots. I know, some good ones. Woo. And so I call Seattle my little England. Not to hate on New England, but if you think about it geographically, if you match it up to Europe, Washington would be a place where England would be. Geographical observations. Seattle, it's America's England, right? America's England. What do you think? I think it's America's England. Acting really weird. People are acting hella sketchy. They look really worried. A lot of people look really worried. They're acting really sketchy. I don't understand why people talk to me. Seattle. So I think so. I don't know. Seattle, yeah, it's England and United States. As close as it gets. I've never been to New England, so